Hello and welcome, dear students. As you all know, we are doing section 4, the fourth novel, that is the sign of 4. It's all 4, 4 and 4. Okay, so we have dealt with the outline of the novel, the plot of the novel, both the lectures, they are dealing with the story of the entire novel. Students, I want you all to go through those two lectures first and then come to this third part of the lecture wherein I am going to deal with the theme of the novel and the synopsis of the extract, because we just have two lessons, that is, or I can say two chapters from the entire novel. So as per the tradition in our textbook, we have the synopsis of the extract. Synopsis is a summary of the extract of the two chapters that we have to study. But before that, let's just do the theme of the novel. Now, before we start with doing the theme, students, you need to understand that the story, the entire plot, the lives of all the characters in this particular novel, they all revolve around this treasure. All right, Mr. Small, or we can say Major Small, he actually looted or he, along with 3 other people, killed a person who was supposed to come with the treasure. Unfortunately, he is caught and he sent off to the prison. The prison is on the Andaman Islands. And the name of the treasure is also Agra treasure. So, you know, yesterday in the earlier lecture also, I've told you that the theme revolves around India. The treasure is Agra treasure. Even this person is posted, he's there in India only. So when he is on the Andaman island in the prison, he meets 2 officers whom he tries to bribe. Okay, one of them is the main character, that is Mary Mortson. One character, one person whom he tries to bribe is Mary's father. All right, and the other person is Major Sholto. So this person, Mr. Small, he tries to bribe these 2 people in order to escape. But then he doesn't know what is going to happen in future. What does Major Sholto do? He double crosses with everybody and he runs away with the treasure. So it is the story, as I said, you must go through the outline and the plot of the novel to understand the story in real detail. So her father goes missing, Mary's father, Mary Mortson's father goes missing. He actually tells her that he's back from India. But then when she goes in to meet him, he's not there anywhere. She doesn't know where to look out for her father. And then she goes to meet her father's friend, only friend, Major Sholto, who also denies meeting her father. The treasure is actually with Major Sholto. And now Small, he's actually after the treasure. He wants to get the treasure back and he's now full of revenge. उसे बदला लेना है because it is his treasure that he has got it and he does not want to let it go. Okay, so let's just go about doing the theme of the novel. I've just explained you in short, but students, if you go through the 2 other lectures wherein the outline and the plot of the novel is covered, you will understand the novel in detail. I've explained line by line, so you must go through those 2 topics first and then come to this third part. So beginning with the theme of the novel. The theme of the novel revolves around Agra treasure. This is something I just told you a few minutes back. Throughout the story, the appearance of the treasure leads to a direct and often tragic change in the lives of the characters. Okay, wherever the treasure, okay, to whoever hand it is being passed on, it is just bringing ill luck or bad luck for them. This is something Small believes. Okay, he just believes that the treasure has not done good to anyone. In fact, it has just caused harm to whoever hand it has touched. Okay, and so in the end, he throws off the treasure in the water. Okay, so let's continue. So because of this, it is important that the removal of treasure would cause the characters to, let me just scroll up, move on to the right hand side, to return to their previous position. This sentence is important. As I told you, it is the treasure. All the lives of all the characters, they are revolving around this treasure. Had the treasure not been then, probably the story would have been different. The story would not have been that relevant, that important or interesting. Then, I'm sorry, in the case of Small, a convict, that says he's a criminal, the re-emergence of treasure leads him down a path that ends in murder. Yes, Mr. Small, he has, just for the treasure, he actually is a part of a plan wherein he has to kill the person. Okay, but after killing the person, after getting the treasure also, he is not able to enjoy the treasure. Mary Watson, she's a charming young woman whom Mr. Watson, now Mr. Watson is a doctor, he is the best friend of Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so Mr. Watson is in love with Mary and he plans to marry her. With this prospect of Mary becoming a heiress, heiress is going to become rich if she gets the treasure. Okay, so probably Dr. Watson does not, as in he's hesitant whether should I propose this lady or should I not. Okay, because she is going to be super rich. So she should not feel that I am marrying her only for a treasure. So these are the thoughts that are going on in his head. But then later on, when it is discovered that the Agra treasure is gone, Mary returns to a position in which Watson can comfortably propose marriage. So, this is the reason I told you Mr. Watson or Dr. Watson, he is hesitant of proposing marriage to her. But then when he comes to know that the treasure is no longer available and that Mary is not going to get much, okay, he decides to propose her. The shallowness of the wealth and the destruction that can come through it is seen prevailing throughout the novel. Another theme that is dominant, one is the treasure and another theme is the wealth. The wealth, the excess of wealth can also lead to destruction. Okay, wealth is required, we all require money, but then when it becomes too very excess, there are people who can misuse it, all right, and then it can only bring destruction. So shallowness of the wealth and the destruction which can come through it is also seen prevailing through the novel. As the Agra treasure directly and adversely affects everyone. All right, this treasure, as I told you, Mr. Small, he believes that it is only the cause of their bad luck. He spent a good amount of years in the prison just for being a part of the plan where he killed that person, the messenger who had got the treasure. And now that he was caught red-handed by Sherlock Holmes and the police, he was again going to spend remaining part of his life in the prison again. Okay, so in the course of the story, the Sheikh's emissary is a representative, okay, who was actually killed, who was supposed to arrive with the wealth, with the treasure, okay, and Bartholomew, he is Major Sholto's son, okay. So both are murdered for the treasure. Yes, emissary, the Sheikh's messenger, is also killed by Mr. Small and the other three. Bartholomew is also killed by them, all right, just for the treasure. Okay, later on, Tonga, his assistant, his friend, okay, whom he met on the island, he is a tribal and he's ready to do anything for Small. Okay, even he is killed while fleeing, that is running with it. Okay, Small is sentenced to life imprisonment. So earlier also, as I told you, Small spent a good number of years, around 20-25 years in the prison for killing the Sheikh's emissary, and again now he's again imprisoned for killing Bartholomew and for the treasure, of course. Additionally, both Thaddeus and his father, Thaddeus is Major Sholto's son, and his father, they spend their life constantly paranoid. Paranoid is worrying, excessive worry. Okay, thinking about the wooden legged man and about the stranger in general. Okay, when students, I repeat again, please go through the outline and the plot wherein the story is discussed in detail. Claudius' father, Major Sholto, he gets an attack. He suffers from a heart failure when he sees the wooden-legged man. That is, it is Mr. Small. Okay. The Agra treasure provides a romantic conflict for Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson is hesitant whether I should propose to Mary Watson or should I wait. Okay, who feels that he cannot marry Miss Watson for fear that he will appear to be after her money. Definitely anybody would feel the same. All right, Mary Watson might not acknowledge his real love. She might only feel that he is marrying her because of her richness. But then in the end, it's not so. She is not that rich. And so Dr. Watson happily proposes her. So this is about the theme. We need to remember that the treasure and the wealth, the destruction that it has caused in the life of the characters is very important. And also the romantic conflict between Dr. Watson. All right. So these three topics, these three themes, the treasure, the wealth, and the romantic conflict are important for the theme of the novel. So moving on now to the synopsis of this extract. All right, as I told you, you just have 2 chapters from the entire novel, and we are going to move to the synopsis, that is the summary of this extract. All right, so now this is the plot which we have already done, we have already dealt with. So now we come to the synopsis of the extract. Okay, synopsis, I repeat, is the summary. Now, Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes were discussing on general issues when they are interrupted by the arrival of Miss Mary Watson, who has a case for Sherlock to solve. Students, in all of Sherlock Holmes novels, the Sherlock Holmes is introduced along with his best friend, Dr. Watson. Both of them are usually shown discussing some topic. This is a very common scene in these novels. So here also it's not different. All right. So they are discussing on general issues when they are interrupted by a stranger. And who is she? She is Miss Mary Watson. Okay. She has a case for Sherlock to solve. All right, and now why is she worried? She is worried. She tells them about her father's sudden disappearance on a trip many years ago. So it's been almost a decade, over a decade, and she is worried because her father has just disappeared. Okay, he had actually called her, invited her to come and meet him in a particular place, but then when she goes over there, he is not to be seen. She comes to know that he has left. He went somewhere the previous night, and he has not returned back. So a few years later, an advertisement was published in a newspaper asking for her address, which she gave. And ever since then, on the same day of each year, she's received a rare and expensive pearl. So after her father disappeared, maybe around 4 years, there was no news, nothing about her father. Then suddenly one fine day there was an advertisement in a newspaper asking for her address. Now this advertisement was also anonymous. That means she just couldn't find out who had published that particular advertisement. But when she replied to the advertisement, she has been receiving one pearl, an expensive and a rare pearl every year. So pearl matlab moti. So this continued for some more years, but today she's received a letter asking to meet her. Okay, she has been receiving a pearl every year. Okay, and now why has she come to him? Why has she come to to Sherlock Holmes? Because there she's received a letter. Okay, and the letter calls her to meet a person at a particular place. Now, the letter has warned Mary not to bring the police with her. Mary requests Holmes and Watson to accompany her to place so that they can figure out the secret behind it. Obviously, she has got an anonymous letter. She is going to be scared, and thus this is the reason she has come to Sherlock Holmes, because she wants him to accompany her to that unknown place as a reply to the letter, because she's been told very strictly not to get the cops, the police, along. So both of them, they agree to accompany her. Okay. Later, Sherlock even recommends Dr. Watson to read a particular book. Okay. Winwood Reade's book, Martyrdom of Man. All right. And leaves the room in search of some references and facts that are essential for the case. Now, students, when you read one of Sherlock Holmes' novels in detail, you really come to know that this man, even though he's a fictitious character, all right, he has been waved and he has been, styled in such a way that he's shown to be exceptionally intelligent. He catches his eye, cannot miss out even a single detail. Okay, so after returning from his investigation, okay, Sherlock Holmes is gone out with Mary Watson and trying to find out some clues. Okay, so he shares his findings with Dr. Watson. Now they believe that death of Major Sholto, Mary's father's only friend in London, has, let me just scroll up, okay, has something to do with the mysterious pearls she has been receiving every year. Now, as I told you, the details cannot be missed by Sherlock Holmes. So he feels that Major Sholto's death, okay, and the pearls that Mary has been receiving has got some link between them. So Sherlock believes that Sholto's hair is a successor. Okay, Sherlock believes that Sholto's hair knows that Mary has been wronged in some way and may be seeking to rectify the problem. All right, he's very smart at joining all the open threads, open links. So your Sherlock feels that it is Sholto's children. They know that some injustice has been done to Mary. All right, and so they are, they're trying, by sending her pearls, they're just trying to work on this problem. Okay, so maybe students, here there is something that we can also decipher. We can also understand that what must have happened after coming back from India. Mary's father, he must have met Major Sholto, because these two were the guards in the prison whom Small had tried to bribe. Now, since Sholto had double-crossed and the treasure was with him, maybe Mary's father had approached him for a part of the treasure. And maybe in that meeting, maybe this particular person, Major Sholto, must have killed him. Okay, that was an accident. That is something we have dealt with in the plot. Okay, so these 4 years, maybe he did not tell anybody. But then when he was on his deathbed, when he was dying, he called his sons and he told them that he was the person who had killed Mary's father. So that is why maybe Major Sholto's children, Thaddeus and Bartholomew, they felt that wrong has been done to Mary. She suffered injustice. Her father has been killed by their father. And probably that is why Thaddeus was sending Mary one pearl every year, not immediately, but maybe after this all has happened in 4 years, when Mary did not know where her father is. Okay. Later, Mary arrives at Baker Street as planned. Both Sherlock and Watson accompany her to the appointment with the mysterious letter writer. Mary has brought a paper of her father's with her, which she has not been able to decipher or understand. She felt that paper might be pertinent to the case in some way. Okay, so finally, now coming back to the present, it is Mary, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson who have come to the place where the letter or the person who's written the letter has called them. Okay, Mary has also got a map which her father had left, a piece of paper. It has got a map on it. She felt that maybe that paper might be useful or might be linked to the case. It might help Holmes to decode the mystery and find the disappearance of her father. So, she still does not know, okay, where her father is. Sherlock examines the letter, puts it away for safekeeping. He, Dr. Watson, and Mary go to the meeting. So what happens there? A person asks them, okay, if they are police officers, which they deny. Sherlock Holmes is not a police officer. He is a private detective. Okay. The person who is apparently a servant of the person they are meeting, then drives them in a carriage. Okay. So from there, where they were asked to meet, that is not the direct address. Okay. From there, they are taken somewhere else. Okay, the trio is a three of them. They arrive in a less fashionable part of London. Okay, it's a kind of a remote place, a working class neighborhood, and they are escorted inside the house by a servant. Okay, so students, we know that this is the Thaddeus's house, wherein Mary and Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes have been called to. And now this is where Thaddeus tells them, all right, what has exactly happened. So all that is, as I told you, it has been dealt with the plot and in the outline of the novel. But for our study, we only have to do what is given in the synopsis. That is what is covered in the two chapters that we have. Those two chapters, I'll be dealing them in the next lecture, which are going to follow. All right, but till that time, students, I want you all to go through all these three lectures that are dealing with 4.4, the sign of 4. I have done the outline, the plot, the theme, the synopsis of the extract after reading every line, and I'm sure you're going to understand it. All right. So till that time, students, you all take care. Thank you so much.